today we'll be exploring some advanced features of functions. The basic concepts of functions we have already covered. So let's see what is in store for today. Today we actually plan to talk about iterables and generators are two very important topics and quite a new concept for even those who have knowledge of some programming language. For them also you will find these concepts are slightly different. So let's start exploring this feature, generators as well as iterators. I'll go through the concept first and then we'll look at an implementation. What we are talking about is iterables. Now we have been talking about a lot of iterables we have taken till now. So it is not new. Our first time we are looking at concept of iterables. Anything that we can cycle through, anything which is a collection of elements, that's nothing but iterables. We can cycle through them. Like we had a string. String has sequence of characters. So we say it's iterable. We can go from one character to another. So anything that we can iterate through, we can cycle through is an iterable. So today we plan to talk about iterables and how we can access those iterables. Remember, even the range that we have taken up with for loop is an iterable, because the range object gives you an opportunity to iterate through those values, range of values. So let's explore these iterables. Anything with which you can use foreign is an iterable. So your list is iterable, your strings are iterable, everything is iterable. It's an abstraction. When I use the word abstraction, means it is a container which actually provides a user a mechanism to cycle through all the parts of that particular container without having knowledge as to how that container is storing the value. Now, when I use the word container, container is something that will hold a value. Say list. List is something that is holding a value. Say dictionary. Dictionary is something that is holding the value. Say set. Set is something that is holding the value. So they are all my containers. List, set, dictionary, all of them are containers. But as a Python developer, have you actually ever explored to understand how list internally arranges the element, or how set actually stores the data, or how the dictionary arranges the data actually in the memory? We do not know. Rather, we have not spent time to explore those particular features. And that's what we say in Python. We really need not worry about how the things are managed in Python. We are actually more concerned with the results, what we get out of it. So when you talk about dictionary or something like that, internally it could be a hash table that is used to arrange those elements in that particular fashion. So it would be quite scary if you are asked to understand the underlying data structure which organizes this data in the memory. So instead, what is more important for us is to store the data into that particular container and retrieve those values from that particular container. So storing and retrieving, searching, these are the operations which are very important. So as a Python developer who is really not concerned about how the things are happening, for them, these iterables are a boon. So what happens over here, without we actually knowing how the data is stored inside that data structure, it gives you an opportunity to iterate through. Iterate means visit every part of that particular container. So I have a list of 10 names. So I would like to start from the first name and go till the last name. So I want to iterate through it. Iteration means cycling through that particular thing. And that is something these iterables give you an opportunity to perform. So this iteration protocol, there is a built-in function called as ITR that takes iterable objects and returns an iterator. Now, iterator you have to think about is an object that gives us an opportunity to visit every part of the container. Listen to me very carefully. Iterator is an object that gives you an opportunity to visit every part of the container. But how do I get this particular iterator for any container? I have different containers. I have list, I have strings, I have arrays, I have so many other things which are there. Then how do I get a iterator for that particular data structure for that container? That is by using this function called as ITR. So when I call this particular function ITR, it will return you iterator for that particular container. So whatever container that we have currently, you will get iterator for that particular container when you call this particular function called as ITR. And when you are iterating, you would like to cycle through all the elements. So while you are trying to cycle through all the elements, from the first element, you would like to get the second element, then the third element, and then the fourth element, and so on. So next method that we can actually call on this using this iterator will allow you to access the next element inside that particular container. So iterator, if you want, you will have to call method called as ITR. If you want an iterator, you have to call method ITR, and the next method will give you the next element inside that particular container for you, inside the container. And when all elements have been exhausted, and after that also you say next. say my container had only 4 elements. List में there are only names of 4 students. So I say next, I get the first student, second student, third student, fourth student. 4 times I say next, I got the students. Next time when I say next, there are no more elements which are present inside that particular container. So it has exhausted. So when it exhausts, it raises a stop iteration error. So it raises an error, and then we will learn in exception handling how to handle that particular exception that has been raised. But currently yet we do not know. So it will just raise an exception and the program will get terminated over there. Later I will teach you how to handle and let not that program terminate. That we'll see later. But currently it will raise something called as, those who come from C++, it throws an exception. Here we say it raises a iteration error. So what are the parameters that we pass? There are 2 parameters that we can pass. First is object through which you would like to iterate, and second is an optional sentinel value where we would like to stop. So at times it so happens that this object container has 10 elements, and so if I only use iterator itr function for that particular container, it will give me a iterator that will cycle through all the elements. But if I give a sentinel, that's an optional value that if I pass, so this optional value will tell me where to stop. So we need not actually cycle through all the elements. We need not actually cycle through all the elements. So where to stop is also what we can specify by using a sentinel, which is optional. That statement is not very necessary. Now, while you are let's take a simple example of an iterator, and then I'll come to this very interesting statement called as yield. Have a look here. I have a list, and I have list of integers from 1 to 9. And what do? I say for element inside a list 1, print element. Now this is an implicit iterator that we are using. Although we did not create an iterator over here, there is an iterator which is coming into action. And this iterator has given us all the elements which are present inside this particular list. So it is going to cycle through all elements. The only difference over here is we are not creating an iterator. It is implicitly provided for us by this for loop. Now the definition itself, we said everything you can use for in on is an iterable. So for any kind of element on which we can use this for loop is an iterator. So my list is a iterable. So let's cycle through all the elements inside this list and see. So we got all the elements from 1 to 9. Say I had a string S1 in which I had stored impetus. Can I iterate through this particular string and get the values? Yes, I can iterate and get all the elements that is impetus. I had another list. Okay, I had another list called as list2, in which I have characters from A to Z. I zip, if you remember zip, when we do that, it will create a pair between the 2 lists. So I create a pair between the 2 lists, and what I get is zip object. Now, is this zip object iterable? If I had printed this zip object, it's just printing the address. Is it iterable? So I say for each element in the data, and that data is nothing but a zip object, it has given me all the tuples, pairs it has created. And note, the smallest was A, B, C, D, 5 elements. So 5 elements with this were paired with 5 elements with this, and those tuples were created. So remember this zip function that we are already seen. So what we have created is, what we have seen is an implicit iterator which is provided for us. Now what we plan to do is, we plan to actually access and create our own iterator. So let's see as to how we can create our own iterator. I have a list of players, Sachin, Vinod, Javagal, Anil, Saro. And then I run a for loop. I say for player in players and plus players. So I'm going to get all the players which are there. I'm going to get all the players which are there. One after another, all the players will get listed. One after another, all the players will get listed. I say player, comma player, all players will get listed. So let's list this and see. So player Sachin, Vinod, Javagal, Anil, Saurav, one after another. So this was an implicit iterator which for loop was providing us. So we have this iterator, but in the last example also we saw all these iterators. We can cycle through those elements and so on. Now what we plan to explore is a function called as iter. So this function is something that we plan to explore. What is the basic purpose of this function? This function gives you an iterator which we can use to control how many times you would like to iterate. Now when I'm using this for loop, there is no way to stop at any place, because this for loop, when I say for player in place, is actually going to iterate through all the elements. We don't have control. I have to stop after the first player or the second player. We don't have that kind of control. So I come across a function called as itr. So I say itr, it's a function that can be called on any iterator. So players is an iterator. Player is a list. I could also say called it as player list. So it's a player list. So on that player list, I call this particular function called as itr, and I get a iterator. I should actually print this thing and see what is this object all about. So it has returned a list iterator object. Now why list iterator object? Because if you have to cycle through list, We have to have list iterator. If I cycle through a dictionary, so there has to be an object which knows how elements are stored in dictionary. Keep in mind the mechanism or the physical arrangement of data in the list is very different than the how data is physically organized in list, and is very different than how data is organized in set. Okay, or in some other container, let's say string, how data has been organized. So that's very different. So the mechanism for iterating through all those different containers is different. So that means the logic for iterating through list is not the same as logic of iterating through dictionary or set. That will be different. So we require a specialized iterator, a specialized iterator who knows how to iterate through list. And if I'm iterating through string, that specialized iterator should know how to iterate through string. So here what we have got, this player iterator, if you look at this, it is a list iterator object is what we have got. So that means this iterator knows how to iterate through a list. So that knowledge it has. So which list? That to this particular players list. So I call method called as next. I say next and I pass the iterator. See what happens when I call this particular method next. I got Sachin. If you remember, we had Sachin, Vinod, Javagal, Anil, and Saurav. I again call next method. I am on line number 2. Again, I call this next method. I get next player. I am on line number 3. Again, I call next. I get Javagal. I am on line number 4. Again, I call next. I get Anil. And the last player that we had was Saurav. So I call it once again. I get Saurav. Now, this iterator has exhausted all elements inside this particular container. Now, there are no more elements which are present inside this particular container. There are no more elements which are present. Now, if there are no more elements which are present and mistakenly I again call this particular method, then what would happen? So we have already exhausted and I again call this method, it raises stop iteration error. So it has raised an error, and the reason for this error being generated is we have exhausted with all elements which are present inside that particular container. There are no more elements which are available for you to iterate through. So it has terminated. So it has generated an error. So that's how this next method works. And iterator, keep in mind, iterator is a function which can be called on any iterable. Iterable means anything through which we can cycle, and it will return a iterator object for us. What it will return is an iterator object, an object through which we can cycle. Every time we call next method, it will give the next element which we can actually iterate through. Now we saw iterator which was iterating through a list. Let's do the same thing for a dictionary and see how does it actually work. And we will also be interested in printing what type of object is being returned. That is something which is very important for us, because last time we had list iterator object, and this time we would like to check what kind of object do we get. I have a state capitals dictionary: Maharashtra, Mumbai, Gujarat, Gandhinagar, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Karnataka, Bangalore, Kerala, Tirunelveli, Odisha, Bhubaneswar. So I have a dictionary in which I have stored the capital cities, names of capital cities of the city, of that state. So we have this dictionary which has been created. And I use the implicitly created iterator for state in state capital. I say print state is state capital of state. So every time this will actually cycle through each of the state, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. And every time I say state capital of state, yaad hai? In dictionary, if I give the key, I'm going to get the value. So I'm going to get the key and its value over here. So I'm going to look at the statement. So look at the statement, what we're saying, state and state capital of state. It's not a very good idea, because if the state is not found, here we'll always find the state. It is better that we call a method called as get, if you remember, because if the state is not there, here there is no question of state not being there, because we are cycling through only existing states. So it is a implicitly supplied uh, iterator. So capital city of Maharashtra is Mumbai, Gujarat is Gandhinagar, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Karnataka, Bangalore, Tirunelveli, Bhubaneswar. We got that particular thing. We have iterated through all the elements. Okay. Now we would like to stimulate this particular behavior by using a while loop. How do I do that? I say iterator function I'm calling on this variable called as dictionary variable, that is state capital. It's a dictionary that we have. And what I'm of interest to me is printing and seeing what is it actually having, what is it actually written. So if I say over here state iterator, and plus if I print this value here, So that is of my interest. Remember last time when we were talking about list, we had got a list iterator object. You remember that? We had got an object which was of type list iterator. We had got an object which was of type, where is that? Here, we had an object of type list iterator. Now this is of my interest to know what type of object does it return. Because I said the mechanism for traversing through list is very different than mechanism of trying to dictionary. So what we have got is dict key iterator. Okay, so let me select this and run this code. Oh, it's generating error. Let me, oh, it's a hangover of Java. Morning I had discussed about Java. Here we go. So we have got dict key iterator. So understand, list iterator to cycle through list. Dict key iterator to cycle through the keys of the dictionary. So it is only cycling through the keys, and that is what is important in dictionary. If I get a key, we can actually find the values, because if I get the key, dictionary.key will give you the value associated with that particular key. So here we have. So now I'm going to cycle through that. So I will say while state iterator, till this time iterator doesn't return value as false. I say state is equal to next state iterator. Now when I say state is equal to next state iterator, it's a state iterator actually cycles through the keys. So I'm going to get only the key. Once I get the key, I'm going to say state capital state. I go to supply the key. Moment I supply the key, I'll get the value. So we'll iterate through it one after another. I'll just iterate it one by one, and then we'll see as to how does it actually work. So let's start iterating this particular code. Let's start executing this particular code. While state iterator, we are here now. And now we'll execute one instruction after another. Okay, here we go. So we say while and we call next, and next element we get some state and we print the value. So when we print this particular value, oh no, I'll print the value. Here I go. I print the value. What it has printed? Maharashtra, that's the value of state, and Mumbai, that's the value that is there. That means this state is Maharashtra, state capital of Maharashtra is Mumbai. That is what has actually got printed. Okay, next we again go inside. We say state is equal to next state iterator. So when I say state is equal to next state iterator, let's look at what state stored in the state. Look at the top right corner, state, str, and what is stored in the state is now Gujarat is what has got stored. Okay, now I'm saying state capital of Gujarat. So when I say state capital of Gujarat, I'll get the next value. So here I go get the capital of here I go Gujarat and Gandhinagar is what I got. Last time I got Maharashtra, Mumbai. Now I'm getting Gujarat and Gandhinagar. So I cycle through once again, and I say state. Look at the state. What state have we got? Right top corner. Look at that. What we have got is Mumbai now. What we have got is Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the state. So state capital of Tamil Nadu is the next value that we get. So next value that we have got is Chennai. Again we say state, get state, next. So I'm again saying next. So moment I say next, look at the value of next, it's Karnataka now. So if it's Karnataka, I get the value that is Bangalore, and likewise I'm cycling to the next state. The next state that we get is Kerala. Watch it, now we have got Kerala. So state capital of Kerala is Tirunelveli. And the last pass. So we now say next, look at that, we have got Odisha, and state capital of Odisha kya hai to Bhubaneswar. Now we have exhausted. That was the last one. Now I say while state iterator, and I say next. Now there are no more elements which are present. So in that case, it is going to raise an exception. So exception should be raised. Something will go wrong. Note, this time around I have done something very special, because I do not want my program to terminate like the error that we had got last time. So that kind of errors I do not want. So last time we got this state error kind of thing. Okay. No, not this. Last time we got that stop iterator error. Where is that? We forgot here. Stop iteration error is what we had got. I do not want those kind of errors to be there. So what I'm doing is I'm using try except. I'll be explaining this particular topic to you later, but there is a mechanism through which I can do that. Handle no errors will actually get printed. So here I go. So it will go to the next part. It says break, and break you will take out of the loop, and the program will get terminated. So let me directly run this particular program for you. I'll stop this and run this program. Look at that. It says Maharashtra, Seleke, Odisha, all countries, all states, capitals have been printed, and then bye-bye. So we have actually handled that stop iterator error. So when we try to go beyond Odisha, which was the last state, in that case it raises an exception called a stop exception. I say break. This entire try except block is in while. So when I say break, it will take you out of this loop, and we come here and we say bye bye. I could have also added this over here by saying else, but then else will never get executed if I say break. because else gets executed only when this particular condition is false. So here there is another statement which I have written outside the loop. Just a revision of what we discussed, nothing very special. I say element in 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 is a list. So I'm going to cycle through all the elements inside this list. So we got all the elements. I say for in char in Python. And that means it's a string through which you are going to iterate. So I'm iterating through the strings. I got Python. I have a dictionary. I say k in x1, y2. That's a dictionary. X and y are two keys, and 1 and 2 are values associated with that particular key. So I'm going to print all the elements which are present. So it has printed only the keys. It has, yeah, therefore iterator was only the key iterator. So it has given only the keys, not the values. Okay. Now I say for line in open data eitr.txt. Now this is something very powerful. Now let me take you to my folder where I have kept my programs. So this is a folder where I have kept my programs. So if I take you to Python program, so I have a folder called as Python, in which I have a folder called as programs. So inside this program, I have a file called as data iterator. So let's see whether we have a file called as data iterator. Do we have a file called as data iterator? Here we have a file called as data iterator. What's there in this particular file? It's a simple text file in which I have stored first line, second line, third line, and last line. So I say third line and last line. So there are 4 lines which have been stored: first line, second line, third line, and last line. Let me save this particular file and close this particular file. Here we go. So this file has 4 lines. Powerful feature. When I'm saying line in open, so I'm opening this particular file. While opening, I have not specified for what purpose I'm opening, and when I use it with for loop, it will always open the file for the purpose of reading by default. So I said open, and I just supplied the name of the file. And I'm going to print each line from the file. So I have an iterator which is iterating through the contents of the file as well. Very, very powerful. You don't have to carry out any advanced operation. Got it? First line, second line, third line, and last line. All the lines have exactly got printed. Here. Now look at that line. It was if you talk about that lines, we just saw here it was on each statement on a separate line. Each statement was on a separate line, and plus I'm using print. So what I can do is I can just say end is equal to space. Now let's see what happens if I say end equals space. What is the difference that will have? Here we had gap of 2 lines. Now there is no gap of 2 lines. First line, second line, third line, and last line. One after another, all lines have correctly got displayed. I just put it as totally blank line. Now I save this particular file and I run the code once again. At the end, we have put a space. So instead of space, I'm saying nothing to be done at the end of the line. Okay, now here we go. So look at that: first line, second line, third line, and last line. All the lines have got printed. So this iterator concept for loop is very powerful. It was an implicitly created iterator which iterated through the contents of that particular list. It has iterated through through a file. Now this example that we already taken, we had a list of players and we cycle through that list of players. We already do all the players is what we got. For player and players, okay, for player and players, and I could iterate it all over again. So once again I iterate if possible. That does not happen with iterators. Iterators we can iterate by using this iterator implicitly created. Implicitly means if I create an iterator, I can cycle through only once. So note with this, implicitly, this is implicitly created iterator. This is explicitly we are creating. So the implicitly created iterator, you can cycle through that particular iterable list set, whatever it is, more than once. But if we create our own iterator, the point of discussion over here is I can cycle through it only once. First player, Sachin, Saurav, Rahul, Anil, Jawahar, and last is stop iteration. I cannot cycle through again. If I try and go to the first element, it will say stop iteration, stop iteration. No way possible for us to iterate through it more than once. When we started with iterator, we said there is an object that we can pass and there is a sentinel value. Sentinel value means indicator to which will specify where to stop. But that was optional. So let's use this sentinel value to specify how to and when to stop through this particular iterator. So I have a text. Okay, I have a text. Now text is nothing but a string that I have. This text is nothing but a string. Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. So that's my statement. So that's my text, and this is so very true right now for us, all of us. Okay, so I print this particular text. So I print failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. And I say text dot iterator. So it will tell me what iterator do we have. So it says it's an iterator of string object. So this iterator will iterate through the string, and obviously this was a string. Like we had a list iterator, now this is an iterator which will iterate through a string. It has its own iterator. Okay, here I say itr of text. So I'm going to get an explicitly, I'm going to get an iterator. So I get an iterator. Let's print this particular object, what is there, because we wanted to know the type. So let's print this object type and see. So I say later underscore iterator. So I would like to print this iterator and see. So what is the type? So this is nothing but a string iterator. So we saw three different iterators. List iterator was different, dictionary key iterator was different, and string iterator is different. The reason for this is, again I repeat, the reason for this is every container organizes data differently in the memory. So you cannot have one iterator which can cycle through all different types of organizations, because list may store in sequential and a dictionary may store in a table kind of format, a different hierarchical format. So we require specialized iterator which knows how to cycle through that particular container. So we have different iterators which have knowledge about iterating only through that construct, only through that type, nothing else. So now we have a string iterator that can iterate only through string. So I say for later in, later iterator, and I say print letters, implicit. That's not, I got all the letters which are there, one after another, I got all the letters. Okay, that was good. I wanted to have words inside that particular letter. Letters are often, it's difficult for me. I wanted to take different word. So what do I say? I say text dot split. So when I split, I'm splitting at space. Remember that method called as split. So here, if I had this particular string, let us call this particular method to see the behavior for those who do not recollect. If I say text dot split, I don't even pass parameter, that's okay. So spelling was wrong. Text dot split. Note what has happened. I have got a list, and list of all the words, list of all the words. So when I say split at space, or if I just say split, that's also perfectly all right if I do not give my delimiter. So I'm saying iterator text dot split. So when I say split, I'm going to get a list. So here, this word iterator will be a list iterator. Remember. Okay, so let's print this iterator, this word iterator that we have. Word iterator that we have. So we got so objective. This is a list iterator. Here, what we had was a iterator that can iterate through the text. That was a string iterator, and using that iterator, we use the loop. Now we are saying split for word in text, and this is implicitly created one. I got this, and using iterator, if I want to do, I say word iterator is equal to iterator dot split, and then I say I got that iterator. That was my iterator that we checked. It is the list iterator, and using this iterator also we can cycle through. So I have cycled through all the elements, all the words which are there inside the list. Now, how about that sentinel value? We have not yet seen that sentinel value. I have a word list: happy, sad, fun, game, flower. So that's a list. So if I have a list, watch it very carefully. If I have a list, and I have a list called as word underscore list is what I have. So this list has all these elements. And if I, on this word list, if I call method called as pop, I call a method called as pop, I get the last element, flower kind of thing. So when I say pop, it deletes the last element. Let me reconstruct this list for us. So what am I doing? I'm saying iterator word list dot pop. Note, I'm passing the function. So inside this iterator, I have passed the function word list dot pop. This word list dot pop is a function that I have passed, and I'm giving a sentinel value where to stop. That means I'm saying on this word list, I'll keep on calling this method pop, this iterator actually. I will also print what kind of iterator it is. That gives us a very good understanding. So that will give us a very good understanding as to what is being written here. So we have callable iterator object. So what we have is a callable. It's not a list iterator now. Callable. Why am I saying callable? Because this pop is a function to which we are actually giving a call. I demonstrated to you here. It's a callable. So if I'm going to use a iterator with a sentinel value, I should have a callable object which has been passed at the first place. If I should have a callable object which has been passed at the first place. So wordlist.pop is a callable object. Pop is a function. Functions are callable, and that callable object is going to return a value. Listen to me very carefully. This is very confusing. Callable object is going to return a value. So I'm going to stop when this callable object on the word list returns as function fun. That's when I'm going to stop. So iterator function could take iterable over here, like what we have been doing till now earlier. It can also take in here. Here we have passed a iterable. Here I am passing a callable. What I am passing is a callable. Callable means anything to which we are going to call. If I call it, it will give you as a value, and I'm going to stop when this value has been returned. But if this callable returns as this value, I'm going to stop. That's what I'm saying. So I have a callable iterator. So the fourth type of iterator we have seen. We saw list iterator. We have saw list iterator. We saw key iterator, dictionary key iterator. Then we saw string iterator, and now what we are seeing is a callable iterator. We have seen a callable iterator. So 4-5 different types of iterators is what we have seen. So we have got this callable iterator. Keep in mind, callable function pop is a callable. Here there's a function called as pop. When we call, it returns a value flower. Flower happens to be the last element which is there. Pop gives you the last element inside that particular container, inside the list. And I'm going to stop. This is my sentinel value. Sentinel is an indicator which will indicate when to stop. So when it returns fun, I'm going to stop. So that's what I'm saying. So let's, if I iterate through normal implicitly defined iterator, it has given us flower and game. How is it? Because I'm using this word iterator, and this word iterator was designed to stop at fun. So it has stopped at fun. So it will not cycle through all the elements. Actually, there were so many elements. Had I not supplied this, and I had only given word list, and then you would have run this particular code, so I'll have different iterator. Look, it would be a list iterator, and that would cycle through all the elements. But I'm now supplying a callable and a sentinel value. This is callable, this is a sentinel value. An indicator to specify where to stop is what I have specified. So when I'm using this for loop, it is going to stop at that particular pace. Look at that. I got only flower and game. Flower and game. Third time I got value fun, it has stopped. Likewise, I have a file called as log.txt. Now we saw this example, but let's just do a revision. We already saw such an example. So log.txt in D drive. Suppose if I have a D drive, do we have a file called as log.txt? We do have a file called as log.txt. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 lines inside this particular file. And I open this particular file, I take a iterator, and I'm going to iterate through that particular file. I'm going to iterate to that file. I got that data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got that data. I open that particular file for in read mode. That's fine. And I'm going to say iterator.readline. So when I'm saying readline, note, that's again a callable. My file.readline, that's again a callable. And I'm saying space. So I'm saying stop when you come across a space. That's what I'm saying. Stop when you come across a space. Here I go. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but it said stop when you come across, oh, here I say stop when you come across a space. So here I run this particular code, so it has to run that particular thing. Or I could have given some characters. I'll say stop when you get, oh, it is just running, it is not stopping now, because it is not coming across a space, it will just keep on running. Okay, here, let's try to do something different. Let's say stop when you come across some text inside that particular file. We had 3, so let me type THREE. 3, and let's check, does it stop when you come across 3 in that particular file? 3, I think it's 3 and /n. How does it read? Let us check. I say 3 and /n have enter hai. So let me check. Yeah, 1 and 2. Thank you all. So we stop here today, and we continue with a further discussion. Next session is again going to be a deep dive into some advanced concepts, and so you have to be very, very attentive. These programs have been uploaded on the site. Make sure that you go through the programs and be ready for the next session. Next session, I'll take up something related to generators.